Coming up on today's special edition of Roar TV, we take a journey through time with interviews from previous TV production students, and we look ahead at the possible future of video technology. Stay tuned, and you're watching Roar TV.
Good morning and welcome to the April 22nd edition of Roar TV.
Good morning, Oviedo.
Good morning.
Good morning, Oviedo.
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 Good morning, Oviedo, and welcome to Roar TV.
Welcome to Studio 49 Sports.
Welcome to another edition of Roar TV. Welcome to Three Guys Found a Ball. Welcome to a Halloween edition of the Roar.
Welcome to Roar TV.
Good morning, Oviedo. I'm Devin Kanata. Today is October 16, 2020. It is a special date here at Roar TV because it was on this day 25 years ago that we broadcasted a show for the very first time in this very same studio. Today's broadcast is dedicated to this special occasion. And to start it off, we have our responses to this week's question on social media.
Hey Oviedo, it's Tyler. Earlier this week we asked teachers to share a photo of themselves from October of 1995. Here are the results. Now we still have more to show you, so stay tuned for those, including our principal, Dr. Daniel, near the end of the show. But for now, let's head back over to Devin.
Now, obviously, the teachers and staff here at Oviedo look different than they did 25 years ago. Some have grown from kids into the adults we know to be now. Something else that's grown is the city itself. With the development of numerous commercial and residential properties, the town has gained a little more notoriety.
Mitchell Hammock did not exist from Chick-fil-A all the way to Lockwood, to where close to where Jeremiah's is. By 95, it would have been like a brand new road that was there.
Because when I first moved out here, I was from Oviedo. They were like, "Where's that?" I was like, "Well, you heard of UCF?" Vaguely, I think so. Like, was how it used to be. But now, they're a national powerhouse. So now, like, you heard of UCF? Like, yeah. Like, so their campus limits, they border Oviedo city limits. Like, oh, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about now. And so Oviedo is actually a conversation where people recognize it out here in Arizona.
Now 2020 alone has brought about many adjustments to our way of life, including how we've obtained interviews for this broadcast. But those adjustments aside, life today is vastly different from a quarter century ago. In 1995, just over 1/3 of households had a computer. Now almost every individual carries one around in their pocket.
You had to make plans on a Friday night to actually meet folks because there wasn't the backup of messages or texts on your phone.
Cell phones, it's crazy. We have our iPhones today or Androids. Back then, there were these things called flip phones. They looked like a clam. If you wanted to text, it was the most annoying thing known to man.
Everybody had a pager. Like, that was the thing. I think in '96, the thing was to get two different colored pagers and put those together.
There used to be a couple payphones that right outside the office, and if you finished, cross country or soccer or football practice, people would line up. In some cases, that they had to call their parents to get a ride.
When I was a junior, I checked my email once a week, maybe. It was brand spanking new. Everybody used this thing called Juno. I think some people still have Juno. That's super old school. And we just called people on the phone.
But none of us had a digital tattletale or a record of, mistakes or stupid choices that you make. There was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, none of the stuff. And because of that, there was a little bit of anonymity.
Right now, aside from school pressures, kids are faced with political pressures, environmental pressures that they're very aware of through social media. And that wasn't there back in the day either.
Advent of the internet and cell phones. Technology. I think it's both been an asset, but also I think it's been a hindrance in life, having this connectivity 24/7, as opposed to having that ability to separate from your job or from your friends and even social media.
Now, throughout all those changes, Roar TV has continued to bring the Oviedo High School campus a daily broadcast. Hundreds of students and just over a half a dozen teachers have gained valuable experiences over that time. Reporter Delaney Warner shares some of their stories and the impact this program has had over the years.
With the construction of Building 5, our campus added a television studio, and with it, the ability to broadcast to the entire school.
They redid all the wires and everything, and so the new classrooms and the old classrooms, which had been renovated, were wired for sound, and there were TVs installed and all that stuff. So it wasn't the ancient carts wheeling a big TV into each room or anything like that.
And with this addition in technology came additional opportunities.
The appeal to the class was we never had access to cameras. And if we wanted to work, we had to shoot on VHS tapes.
When we edited, we had to use tape-to-tape editing systems that, quite honestly, was very frustrating, simply because if you messed up, you created a hole in the tape, and now, put it this way, there was no computers back then to help us with this stuff, so it was an absolute nightmare.
I loved in TV productions is doing the set design. So we're always trying to come up with something fun in the background, and I love doing that, coming up with different ideas for that.
Back then, it was MTV, so like an MTV type format, we were sitting in front of backgrounds that were, it was just casual. We had a collage, somebody did a collage of all kinds of magazine pictures and stuff on big background, and we just put a stool there, and that was one of our favorite ones.
We had all these different jobs that really aren't even around in TV anymore. Like we had a floor director, and a floor director just sets up the cameras and makes sure everybody's in place and all the cameras are where they're supposed to be. Now you go into a newsroom, there's no floor director. Everything is done with robots and robotics, and they just, the control room controls the cameras. So it was really interesting to see back then what a full news production was like.
The class itself, it's terrible to say, I don't remember much about learning. It was all the experiences that I remember about the class. I mean, we all had such a good time. It was one of my favorite classes.
It was kind of a big deal to be a part of it, because if you're on the announcement, everyone knew who you were.
Roar TV actually helped me prepare for what I was using at UCF, which is where I went to college. It was also where I became comfortable on air doing news.
Really, I think confidence and knowing how to speak and how to hold yourself. As you get older, you have to communicate. I'm in a position where I communicate with buyers all day long. And so having that confidence within yourself to speak to someone properly or carry yourself in a certain way is what I gained, I think, mostly from it.
Got to travel to some amazing conferences around Florida and, all the way to San Diego and Atlanta, and, traveling and learning both in the classroom and at those experiences was super formative for me.
And for students, the chance to have themselves or their work put up on the screen ran the potential to be life-changing.
Every morning we shot in the courtyard, we shot at lunch, we shot in classrooms. Sometimes we would go and pledge in a classroom. But if I could involve as much of the student body as possible, they would watch the show. They thought they were going to be on it.
Elliot and I wrote a movie that came out last year that had Natalie Portman and John Hamm in it. I've written on TV shows. In all of that, I still am not convinced that more people have watched any of that than watched our shorts, because everyone at school had to watch them. And it was just this incredible opportunity. This is before YouTube, this is before anything, where we could go out and make stuff and actively engage with people, show it to people, have people watch it, have people engage with it. And it changed our lives.
I remember doing a lot of video features my first couple years, just kind of going out and doing some reporting, both on camera and off camera, just some features about things happening around campus or around Central Florida. And that was, that definitely really prepared me for my journalism major and was what made me want to study journalism. I really had a great experience doing that and got to learn a lot about our community through doing that.
It was really great and gratifying to get a lesson that even if you're making something that is silly, that in its own charming way kind of looks like garbage, there are people out there who could be receptive to it, who could connect with it in a certain way, and that's encouraging. I think it was something that we didn't really expect, but clearly it set us off in a certain direction that was consequential for our lives.
The experiences that come with being a part of Roar TV will continue to impact students for the next quarter century as well. I'm Delaney Warner reporting.
Something else we wanted to do for this show was not only to look towards the past, but both the present and the future. So we asked former students to watch some of our class's work over this past year and provide their thoughts on where we are today.
All right, here we go.
See, okay, Tall OHS is one of my absolute favorite things that Roar TV is now doing.
I know, I was thinking, I'm like, we did not harness the power of social media, like, at all while we were there.
They definitely have that, what I call that newscaster voice, where you have the highs and lows, that type of thing, which we never did that. I felt like we just kind of talked and that's how we did it.
The interaction between two people on TV in the morning announcements. We didn't do a lot of that. It was mostly a single announcer.
Back in the day, we would just take a camera, go out to the courtyard, just stick a microphone in front of somebody's face, ask them a question of the day, and then we just put it on the news. Whereas with you guys, it seems like you really are focusing on all the elements, the who, the what, the where, the when. They're actual news pieces and features that you would see on your daily newscast.
It's just super impressive that, you know, they're exploring national and global topics.
You see just a greater grip on technique. Everything looks so much better, so much more interesting. It's always very exciting to check in on. And it's just heartening to see that things have come so far.
Yeah, this is just so impressive. I think this is leaps and bounds away from what we were doing.
Some of the stuff I've seen you guys produce is better than some stuff I've seen from either recent college graduates or people that would actually send me demo reels to jobs when I was in a position to go through all those.
I think anything that I see that makes me think like, wow, this stuff I did was garbage at that age is actually a net positive thing. It makes me really hopeful and excited to see what keeps coming down the line.
Yeah, I can't imagine what everything's going to look like when they wheel us in for the 50th.
I mean, we saw features of all different types, but they were all handled really well, with very interesting footage and great talent, awesome writing.
Man, if you could put memories up against, like, whatever, like Celebrity Lookalikes 2 or whatever weird thing we made, like, it looks like I couldn't believe that it was the same program. The ambition of that movie was really impressive.
Everything's so clean, and we can't just blame that on new technology. It's like stylized. I feel Roar TV has followed the way TV production has evolved in the past couple years.
Broadcasting this show on closed-circuit television to now doing so online, video technology has advanced quite a bit in 25 years. On our 20th anniversary broadcast, we documented the significance of those changes. You can find that show on our YouTube channel, but to close out this show, we wanted to look forward to where video technology could be headed in the next 25 years. For more on that, here's reporter Lillian Ray.
It wasn't long ago that to have access to your favorite movies and TV shows, you had to have a DVD or VHS collection. But now, those collections have become monthly subscriptions to streaming services.
People watch content in new places now than they never did before. It used to be the living room experience. You know, you'd rent a VHS or a DVD, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and then now people are like instantly picking content.
Online content has become far more prevalent, and one way in which Roar TV provides online content is by live streaming football games. And the service we use, NFHS Network, now offers a completely automated game follow camera, eliminating the need for a camera person or crew.
It allows us to always broadcast, like before it would be, oh man, we gotta get a producer and an audio guy and cameraman and play-by-play. Now we need our play-by-play guys to plug into the Pixelot. And when the stream is up, we just broadcast.
And this sort of video automation can be put to other uses. For instance, if I were in the middle of a house right now, I could use my phone to record a video all around the house, and a program could then take that video along with a few other data points and determine exactly how much that house should be sold for.
if you're standing on a beach and doing the same thing and just turning it through 360 degrees, and the computer is programmed with Anthony Bourdain or Samantha Brown's voice or something like that, you can spit out a description of what's being seen. Take in the data from some sort of online almanac or something like that to populate the natural language that the host would normally be saying, and you have a production that's done pretty quickly without an actual person in the loop.
So much of this can be done remotely, and the moment it can be done remotely with ease is the moment it can be done anywhere, and eventually the moment it can be done by anyone. And so I think the one thing that I would expect is 25 years down the line, that greater access means more interesting stories, both from a broadcast journalism standpoint and a narrative filmmaking standpoint, from people and places, voices that we haven't seen before.
I would see in the not too distant future, very bespoke content that is produced and made almost completely by automation.
Human need for video quality is being met, and it's about to be completely realized, in my opinion. So it's going to be these new marketing reasons as to why we need to go new places with video.
Much of the development in video over the past 25 years has been all about increasing the quality and availability for video for entertainment purposes. But the next 25 years may be more about the tasks that video can now do on our behalf. For Roar TV, I'm Lillian Ray.
We want to thank all of those who gave us some of their time to participate in today's show. There was a lot that we couldn't include given our time constraints, but we are going to be posting some of what we had to leave out onto our YouTube channel. We've made a 25th anniversary playlist, which includes our 20th anniversary from 2015. You can scan the QR code on your screen to get there. Now, we didn't get a chance to get to sports today, but we want to congratulate the Slow Pitch softball team for winning the conference championship on Wednesday night. We'll be back with O-Town Sports next week. Thank you so much for tuning in, Oviedo. We hope you've enjoyed this show, and we look forward to seeing you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend.